everyone. This is John Rollins. We're here today for our weekly S.T.R.I.V.E sessions. S.T.R.I.V.E, strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious, strategies to remain empowered. And we're excited about the opportunity to be with you today. Just want to thank everyone who has been listening to these sessions, been giving their comments, who've been sharing them. I really do appreciate it. It helps me to believe that we're doing something that's making a difference, regardless of what the overall impact is going to be. We can't necessarily control that, but to just have that reassurance from you that we're saying something that means something to you that could possibly help you out, it means so much to me. So I appreciate you, and I ask that you just continue to share your thoughts. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Maybe there's some ideas that you want to hear us share some information on it. We'll go out and do that for you because we want to do something that makes it of some value to you. S.T.R.I.V.E, strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious and empowered. And we have been going over or going through the Pursuing Wisdom sessions for quite some time. And I'm not sure when that's going to end because whenever I think I'm getting ready to wind it down, another idea comes, and I said, well, maybe that would go along with the same topic. And you know, the Pursuing Wisdom, we went into the book of Proverbs. I went into the book of Proverbs years ago, and I just went through each of the chapters, and I looked at what it was saying, and I tried to figure out how could I put it in a language or in a format that most people could understand. A lot of people now, they do use different versions of the Bible, and it does simplify it. Okay, but years ago I went through it and I tried to make it as plain as I could possibly do it, so that anyone who was listening or who was interested, maybe we could give you some insight on it. Well, our topic today, our question today for the topic is, what is your score? I am not a video game player. And so I hear about who made the cover of the Madden, or I hear about the EA Sports. I hear about it when I see the highlights on ESPN or some other place. Okay, so I'm not a big follower of it. I don't know what it's like to have a fantasy league or any of that stuff. But I understand that there's every year there are some individuals who go out and they rate or rank different athletes, and they look at a combination of qualities or attributes, and then they assign a numerical value to them, and then they give a rating of those athletes. And I've listened to some of the feedback from those individuals, and those who get a good score, they're happy with it. Those who score maybe a little bit lower, they question it. Yeah, how can you rate me a 70? I'm as good as anybody else. I should be at least a 85. And I guess 99 is the highest level that you can achieve on that rating. Okay, but they go through and they look at different qualities of the individuals. They look at what is the person's overall strength. You know, and the strength rating talks about how well that person can. And we're talking about football with these, but I believe there's probably ratings for basketball and baseball and other sports also. But we're talking specifically about football. They talk about how strong the individual is, how agile the person is, how fast that person is, what's their speed rating, how long can they endure, what's their stamina. Okay, are they aware of their surroundings? Do they read and react? They look at how high they can jump, how far they can jump. Are they getting hurt? Do they get up when they had a good blow? They look at so many of these qualities, these attributes, and then they assign a value to them, and then they look at all of those, they compile all of them in some type of system. And I could not tell you what it is, but some type of system where they compile all that information, and then they give them a rating. They assign value to that person. And it is possible, and I don't know this to be the case, but it's possible that other people look at that value that these individuals assign to that person, that player, that athlete, and then they make some of their decisions on whether or not they want to look at that person for a team member, or a potential trade, or they just look at how that person is rated. What's your score? What's your score? And so if you, let's say that you're not an athlete, but you're a parent, a spouse, on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, what would you rate yourself? What would your spouse rate you? What would your children rate you? As an employer or employee, what kind of company do you own? What kind of employee are you? If you had 10 of your friends and they were rating you, what kind of scores would they give you for your dependability or how trustworthy you are, or your confidentiality? Okay, what would they rate you as a punctual person, someone who shows up when they're supposed to be there? Are you accountable? Are you flexible? What's your score? What when your kids are telling their friends about you, what are they saying? Oh no, you can't come to my house. My mom and my daddy, they fill in the blank. I remember once when my son was in school and he was challenged at the time with whatever situation that was going on. But I remember him, apparently the teacher or the guidance counselor, someone said, "We need to get in touch with your parents." He said, "Well, call my mom, but don't call my daddy. Whatever you do, don't call my daddy." So how do your children rate you as a child? Are you a child that makes your parents proud? Or are you a child that your parents they don't talk much about you, or when someone asks how things are going with you, they try to change the subject? What's your score? Okay. As a believer, what's your score? There was a post that was going around years ago, and it says, if you were on trial for being a Christian, would you be found innocent or guilty? Okay. What's your score? Every year I do a program called Skills for Success, and in that program it recommends that you do an annual analysis of your virtues, and it says you want to increase your virtues, you want to decrease your faults. In other words, you want to be better next year than you are this year. You want to be better this year than you were last year. Well, how do you accomplish that? How do you improve? Well, the first thing is you got to be honest with where you are. Are you someone who has some areas where there are opportunities for improvement, but do you what attention are you giving to those areas? Are you someone who you know that you have a problem with punctuality, but you continue to hit the snooze button? Give me 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And then you're rushing through trying to make sure that everything is done. You get behind a vehicle in traffic and that vehicle is going slow and you're upset with that person. That's not that person's fault. I one of the ways that I make sure that I don't get upset, because I remind myself, John, you left when you left. Just imagine, had you left 5 minutes earlier, you wouldn't be behind that car. If you had left 2 minutes earlier, then your situation could be different. Okay, so I try not to have those outbursts in traffic because I'm behind a person who is driving the speed limit, but I want to go down the road where it says 40. I want to go 50 because I'm running a little behind. But the person who's in front of me, they're actually obeying the law. I can't get upset with that person. I made the decision to leave when I did, and I own it. Are you when you have broken the confidence of someone, and now you're being called to the carpet on it? The person challenges you on, well, I didn't tell anybody but you, but now these individuals are aware of that conversation we had. I didn't share it with anyone, so where did it come from? And that person challenges you on it. What do you say? Well, I mean, so are you a person who you may help to spread the gospel, or maybe you help to spread the gossip? All right. So what's your score? And so getting back to that annual analysis, in 2012, I had a person who I have a great deal of respect for, and I was looking to improve, and I do. I try to improve in the areas of my life. I don't always get there, and you know I don't mind saying I still need to continue on my workout plan. I get challenged with it sometimes. I don't anyway. So, but I try to always be getting better. I want there to be continual improvement in the person the person that I am. I want there to be continual improvement in how I represent those individuals who are associated with me. Continual improvement in the way that I live my life when I say that I'm a believer. I want there to I don't want to be struggling with the same things next year that I'm struggling with this year. I don't want to be struggling with the same things this year that I was with last year. And so, and I know that there are times there's this book that I read a lot, and you all hear me say this often. But the Apostle Paul was saying, man, there are some times when I find myself doing stuff I don't want to do it. The things that I want to do, I don't do, and the things that I don't want to do, I do. So I'm trying to get better. I had this friend of mine to assess me in several categories. There are about 16 categories, and I asked them, "Okay, I want you to rate me on a scale of 0 or 1 to 10. One being I failed that one completely. 10 being that's an area of strength for you. You could probably go out and help other people with regards to that." So there was 16 topics, 16 categories, and I asked them to rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. So out of a possible 160, my score was like 128, that's not something that I was proud of. That's either a high C or low B. And so I tried to, and I thanked them for their feedback, and then I tried to work on these areas, and I believe I've gotten better. Okay, but what were some of the topics? I asked them, rate me on a scale of commitment, and then each person had their own definition. I didn't try to define the word for them, but based on your observations of me, okay, what's my score? What's my commitment? How courageous am I? Am I honest? I work with the young people and I say, man, you have the seed of honesty in you. Have you ever been at least honest at least one time in your life? If you've been honest at least once, you have the seed in you. How honest am I? Okay. What about my perseverance, my stickability? Do I put in the effort to get prepared in advance before the deadline? Do I show respect for others on a scale of 1 to 10? How well do I do with being respectful toward others? Am I responsible? Okay. Can you look at me and say I can count on John to do what John's supposed to do? What about my self discipline? Do I say no when I want to say yeah? Do I say yeah when I want to say no? Teachability. Am I open to learning? And you all hear me talk about that often. So yeah, if somebody knows more than I know about the topic, and I don't mind learning from them. Unselfish. Unselfish. Am I humble? What about my motives? Okay, you see what I do, but what's going on behind the scene? What's my intention? My integrity. Does my do and my say match? Not only when I'm in front of people, but when I'm away from people. My work ethic. Am I willing to put the time in? What about my compassion and my consistency? Okay, I asked them to rate me on a scale of 1 to 10 on those topics, and some of them I did really well in them. Others I had room for improvement. Okay, what's your score? You can determine the category. You can go to someone, a trusted friend, a companion, and say, look, hey, I'm curious. If you were grading me on a scale of 1 to 10, would you say that I'm honest? Would you say that I'm approachable? Would you say that I'm ethical? Would you say that I'm friendly? What's your score? Okay. I encourage you to do that. Now, you have to be careful now. There's this saying, don't ask me what you want me, don't ask me unless you want to know the truth. That sometimes you might be better off just not asking your friends, because they might tell you what you don't want to know, what you may need to know, but you don't want to know. Hey guys, this is John with the S.T.R.I.V.E sessions. Strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious, strategies to remain empowered. And again, we're trying to just make this time for you here on this earth better. So I hope you've heard something on today that you can take and put it in your pocket and pull it out later on when you get really hungry. You want something to snack on. You take these thoughts and snack on them. We want to close the way that we always do. If you've not had someone to affirm you, to remind you just how great you are, remind you of your value, to let you know that you matter. Okay, give me that privilege. I welcome the opportunity to let you know that today, tomorrow, and forever, okay, you, you are important. Yes, you are, and don't you ever forget it. All right, y'all be blessed. We'll see you hopefully next week. All right.